Hey everybody, welcome to the return of the Raid, the GamerAccess.com's PC gaming podcast. I'm Bronson, joined by Anthony Top,
Good evening.
Nick McCandless,
What's up, guys? I know when I'm on, I'm usually always hosting, so I'm actually doing a podcast and not hosting it, so it's a different feeling, but I'm glad to be on, and we finally have a place to vent out about PC stuff. I know on Unscripted Access lately, it's just been like so much PC talk, so now we actually have a podcast specifically for that.
and special guest, my roommate, Ray.
Hey everyone, glad to be here, glad to be talking about some PC games. It's going to be fun.
Hey, alright, so, how's everyone doing today? We ready to talk about PC stuff, reintroduce this podcast. We have brought it back from the grave.
I'm super excited because
good.
Here's the thing. I mean, at this point, I'm sure everyone's heard the story, so I'm not going to go super in depth. But a few months ago,
super in depth.
I'm not going to go super in depth. A few months ago, like PC gaming was this thing that's like, well, first of all, so like 3 or 4 years ago, it was whenever the 660 Ti came out. I built a PC primarily just for video editing, and I played some games on it. Bought quite a few games because the games look substantially better than they did on the PS3 and 360 because the PS3 and 360 were aging. And then once the PS4 and Xbox One came out, I was like, yeah, PC gaming, not really going to touch it. Never really turned on my PC ever because I do all my video editing on my MacBook Pro now. But it all started with a Google search into 4K gaming, and that's when I built this beast of a machine I currently have. So yeah, it's nice to actually have a podcast where I can focus just on that and not direct it all on Unscripted Access, because I know on Unscripted Access I tend to get carried away. But now I can get carried away on the Raid. So very excited we got this show going again.
Yeah, I've always kind of enjoyed PC gaming. I tend to fall in and out of it. But ever since I bought this new laptop, I've been able to stay really current because ahead of the curve when I got it. It has a desktop equivalent i7 for a processor, a halfway decent video card. So I've been kind of current on my PC gaming. I'm getting to that point where the more high-end games will tend to run more towards the high end of things and say the ultra end of things, but for the most part, it's going well. The card in is a 765M, which the desktop equivalent is a 650 Ti. Anthony?
Yes.
Well, you, the Raid.
I didn't know if you were asking me a question. I thought you were still talking about your graphics card. I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking you, the Raid is back. Are you happy? You are happy for this return?
Yes, I am kind of excited because, man, Nick had a lot to say about his computer, and John had a lot to say about his computer, and
yeah, so we don't have John on.
Yeah, and Nick had a lot to say about DirectX 12. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Oh crap. Yeah, I'm glad the show's back. It was that same sense that when we did the
OG Raid.
The OG Raid existed because we couldn't stop talking about MMOs on our Gamecast, and people were getting annoyed by it. So that's how the Raid existed. But here we are again, and now it's to relieve Unscripted Access of the torture of unending technical talk. So hopefully the Raid can return back to the land of console gaming, so people can actually understand it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time.
Yeah. To go through, sorry, Anthony. What's the PC you're rocking? What are the specs you have?
But what's your video card? Because I know we all did video cards, and we'll go full build.
My video card is an NVIDIA GeForce 550 Ti, which is due for an upgrade this year. This is, out of all the parts in my system, this is probably one of only few parts left from the build that I had from 2011. Because over the years, the system's had various things changed out. The hard drives was replaced with an SSD, and the 500 gigabyte was replaced with a 1 terabyte. Sorry. Yeah, no wait. The 500 gigabyte was replaced with a 2 terabyte, I think. I forgot what order I did it. The RAM had an upgrade. The i5, the original i5 I put in there was replaced with an i7. So basically, the only things that are the same is the motherboard, power supply, and graphics card. And even the graphics card now, it's like, man, I can't play anything on high settings on this thing anymore. And the 960 is looking pretty nice. So time for a graphics card upgrade. 550 Ti. It's a kind of a bit of a $170 cheapo part from 2011. So it never was really that high end to start with. Because back in the day, my logic was, oh, I'm gonna put what was my logic again? I only had an $800 budget, but I was recycling the hard drive in case. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just make it a gaming PC-ish that leans more towards video editing. And what ended up happening in the next few years, that it was more of an editing machine that occasionally played games, which is why the graphics card never got updated. I thought about a 750 Ti, but I'm like, no. But yeah, that's the history of that thing. Runs great. The only thing I ever did to it was replace the thermo paste with Arctic Silver, which didn't make it run any cooler, which probably tells me I either did something wrong or the original paste was good. So, yeah, I'm not doing that on my new graphics card ever. Yeah, that's what I have.
All right, well, we'll talk about our complete machines in a minute, or actually, we'll start right now. Wait, Ray, what you have? I believe it is a Costco laptop.
Essentially, I just needed something for school when I got it. I've always wanted to upgrade, get a lot of better things, better video card, better laptop in general, but just haven't had the chance yet.
You're building a desktop tax time next year?
I'm gonna spend a good $2,000 on it.
Ooh,
man, you could get some pretty good stuff for $2,000. Yeah, my laptop for before my current one for about 4.5 years, I had a Costco laptop, which looking back now, man, that thing was a little overpriced. But you got a 2-year warranty. Oh.
Yeah, on my end, in 2013, the end of 2013, I was working for AT&T. You know, I would say that I went for a laptop because I still want to be portable just in case we went to E3, PAX, etc. So I got the best gaming laptop I could get for my budget at the time, which was $1,500, while still being under 17 inches. Because I didn't want a 17-inch laptop because then it is no longer fucking portable. I don't care what Aaron says. Dude, we saw Aaron carry that thing, man.
I know, but how often do you actually carry yours? It spends like 98% of its life on your desk. That's
I know.
That could be the argument for a 17-inch screen.
Yeah, I know, but I plan to build a laptop next year. It's looking. I'm saying I'm looking at the end, but if I can afford, I'm gonna go the middle of next year. But I'm rocking a desktop equivalent i7, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 765M, which I believe is a 2 gig card. Yeah, it's 2 gig because Titanfall's a weird video memory thing. Yeah, I don't know. And then next year, I'm planning to, I'm going to build whatever the mid 2016 equivalents are of an i7 quad core. I believe the current one is a 4790. It probably isn't going to change much. A 970, which probably then it'll be a 1070 or whatever stupid rebranding they'll have. And then I'll probably go 16 gigs of DDR3 instead of DDR4. Just to save money. Put that money towards an SSD.
SSDs are pretty awesome. Yeah. Yes, Bronson?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, save money on DDR3, and by 2016, DDR4 may become the next mainstream thing.
All right, let's do it.
And you know, if you're gonna build a gaming PC, you might as well future-proof it a bit for the future. Like DDR4 today is probably a little too soon, but I think come 2016 it might become a mainstream thing. So
the budget is 15, and I'm probably willing to go to 17. So
yeah, because at that point I'm like, maybe you should consider DDR4. I mean, everyone's gonna say, well, DDR3 can give you similar speeds, and DDR4 is too expensive. Yeah, everyone said the exact same thing when DDR3 was new, and everyone said the exact same thing when DDR2 was new. Why go to new technology if you can't make it go faster, but it costs more? Well, that's just how new tech works. Eventually, it'll surpass and be cheaper at the same time.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm gonna go with DDR4 probably, unless the price hasn't dropped, of course, because then that's gonna be a huge problem. But I think with $1,700, that machine is gonna be beefy. Yeah, even if I go 15, it's gonna be beefy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Anthony, what your plan is just to do a video card upgrade. Really, that's the only thing that that's really the only thing on yours that's outdated, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing left I can change on it. I mean, there's only like 2 things left I could do on it. That is graphics card and power supply. Power supply if the graphics card takes too much electricity, which I hope that's not the case, because that's like another $100 I have to spend. Which makes the $350 graphics card upgrade a $450 because it needs electricity to run. So that's maybe why I'm going to be a little stuck on a 960. But yeah, that's like the only thing left I can change on this whole system. That isn't a Blu-ray drive. So yeah.
Anthony, you already have 2 Blu-ray players in your house, and realistically, you're probably going to have an Xbox by the end of the year, so you'll have a third.
Yeah, well, and yeah, like that's the thing. Just like there's really no point for me to get a Blu-ray drive because it's like Blu-ray movies. Oh, I've got a PS4 and a PS3, which are great Blu-ray players. Oh, Blu-ray data discs. Do those actually exist anywhere? No. Okay. Blu-ray burners, really?
Yeah.
Do I really need a Blu-ray burner when I got a portable hard drive?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking graphics card, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want a 960 or a 970, and if I go a 970, can my power supply handle it? And is a 970 too big for my case? Because my case is a cheapo HP case that I recycled to save money. So
that is exactly why I told John to go big on the case.
I mean, I'm kind of glad he did, because I looked at the case and I'm like, there's so much space in here that it's really easy to plug things in, and you're not having to worry about, scratching yourself or cutting yourself, or, there's a lot of room to do
But I
work.
I thought you had to cut yourself on the PC. It requires a blood sacrifice to get to run. Oh wait, that's Nick's.
On my HP case, it actually literally is, because because it's a cheap case. It has some sharp edges in there.
No, older cases like that old metal one that I have in the living room, just rotting away. Fucking like the inside of that thing is like sticking your hand into a den of knives. Like all the fucking brackets for hard drives are sharp as shit. Yeah, I know for my next one I am going to aim for a big case, like something that will just eat up the bulk of my desk. Partially because I want airflow, partially because I want it to be able to easy to navigate. Make it easy to navigate, but Anthony, you're shopping for a new video card. Segue. NVIDIA's reportedly working on a GM200.
Hold up. Before we go into there, I haven't said my build.
All right, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
Wait, I didn't even say my complete build. It was just
sorry. We only went graphics card.
Let's establish our credentials here.
All right, Anthony, your build.
My build is it has a motherboard from 2011. It is an Asus H67 CSM/Pro motherboard, which at the time was $100. Originally, it had an Intel Core i5-2400 Sandy Bridge processor, but 2 years, I think a year and a half or 2 years later, I upgraded it to an Ivory Bridge i7-3770. It is the non-K version, so it is not unlocked, so therefore you cannot overclock this processor. The graphics card is an NVIDIA GeForce 550 Ti, but it's from EVGA, so it has the free performance boost feature, which gives it an extra mild 50 megahertz overclock on the GPU, and I think a very slight memory clock bump also. For hard drives, it has a Seagate 600 SSD, 240 gigabyte boot programs and video game drive. Seagate doesn't make SSDs anymore, so I am really suspicious that this thing is probably just a rebrand of some other SSD that already existed at the time. But it's a Seagate SSD, and I got it for a good deal for like $110. The media drive is a 2 terabyte Seagate standard desktop drive. It's 2 terabytes. I got it for like $87 at Best Buy. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's DDR3. It runs at 1,333 megahertz. Originally there was 8, but because editing needs RAM, I put 16, which is actually the most my motherboard could support. If you wanted 32, you actually had to get a fancier motherboard. Standard DVD drive, it all sits inside a recycled HP case from 2007. And I think that's about all it might. Oh yeah, the power supply. It's an OCX Mod Extreme Pro semi-modular power supply, rated at 500 watts. And it runs on Windows 7 Home Premium, which at the time costed me $190 because I got the retail version, not the OEM one. Yes, Windows 7 was almost a quarter of my budget back in the day. That's how expensive Windows used to be. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was almost a quarter of my budget. Nowadays, Windows 8 is like $120, and I think Windows 10 is going to do something to make it even cheaper, I think. So, yeah. So
cool.
That's my system.
Next build.
So my build. So I am running an Intel i7-5820K. So it's their. So first, before I go into that, I'm using the latest chipset. It's the Intel X99 chipset. It's the latest chipset you can get. So I have the MSI X99 SLI Plus motherboard. For my processor, I'm running the Intel i7-5820K, which is a 6-core i7 processor. For GPU, I'm running the GTX 980, soon to be 2 GTX 980s. For RAM, I'm running 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. I'm running SSD, a 960 gigabyte SSD. For my case, it's a Cooler Master HAF 922, if I'm remembering correctly. I have, let's see, there's 3 exhaust fans. There's one for the top, one for the bottom, one for the back. And then there's one for the top, one for the back, one for the side. And there's one for the bottom too, so 4 exhaust fans, sorry. And then a really big intake fan in the front. I covered that. So the only other thing, so power supply, I'm using a 1300 watt modular power supply. The reason why I want 1300 watts is I don't ever want to have to worry about power being an issue. And with 2 980s, it'll be fine. And if I decide to go with a third 980, I'll still be fine. So yeah, that's my current build. Right now I'm rocking 1 980, but soon it will be 2 980s because I will be doing 4K gaming. So that's my build.
All right, cool. Well, Anthony's getting a new video card soon. Sadly, oh wait, Ray, do you know any specs about your computer?
It's a Core 2 Duo, and I'm just joking.
It's got plastic.
It's probably that bad. I remember I looked it up when I first got it. I was like, wow, this is the worst laptop I think I've ever looked at.
I recently worked on it because he filled it with viruses.
Yay, emulators.
So he filled it with viruses, and I looked at it and got it running and everything. And this gentleman is running a dual-core AMD with 4 gigs of RAM. And I don't know the video card, but it is a Radeon something.
If it's integrated, I think I have a clue what it is.
It's an HP.
It's an HP. Well, here's the bright side of HP computers, HP laptops, or at least the older laptops, is replacement parts for them used. They're everywhere, so the parts are cheap, and they actually publish the repair manuals for these laptops, so you could technically fix them yourself. It is freaking genius. I love that. Like, when Tori's laptop had a broken fan, I basically was able to take the whole thing apart, replace the fan, and there you go. She has a functioning computer again. That didn't melt itself. So that's pretty cool. I actually have a laptop that I forgot to talk about. My laptop is it's an MSI GP60-2PE-009 Leopard. Basically, it's a pretty standard gaming laptop. Has the Core i7-4710HQ, which is, you know, pretty much the standard CPU that goes in just about every gaming laptop out there. Plastic case, really unassuming to look at. I mean, the only thing that even remotely suggests this thing is even powerful is that it has a Dragon Gaming Series badge on it, and that's it. But it looks really business-like, which I actually am a fan of. This thing is a mild gaming system because the graphics card on this thing is a GeForce 840M, which is slower than my 550 Ti. It's kind of sad. But I decided to save $200 and get the 850. So that's my laptop. Has 60 gigabytes of RAM. I told the company that I bought it from to put an SSD into it, so they did. System's a bit of a headache. Have quite a few stories with this thing, so probably we'll share another time.
All right. So we got there's a rumor going around regarding NVIDIA. We're on a new, potentially lower cost GM200 GPU core card. The 980 Ti, though some are saying it might be called the 990 in order to differentiate the card from the 980. It's going to be using a similar build as the Titan X, but only have 6 gigs of DDR5 instead of 12. But everything else will be basically the Titan X.
So it's a scaled down Titan X.
Basically.
I don't think they're gonna call it a 990 because the 90 series historically have been known to be dual GPU solutions, like the 590. The 590 in particular was a pretty famous one because I think it was a 590 or 690, but at the time when Titan X came out, when the first Titan came out, it costed $1,000 in a single GPU. But the 590 at the time was 2 GPUs, but it was also $1,000, and it blew the Titan X out of the water. Sorry, not the Titan X, the regular new Titan out of the water. So, yeah. But
yeah, if it ends up being a Titan X essentially with just 6 gigabytes instead of 12 gigabytes, it's probably gonna still be up there. It'll probably be like $850. They're charging $1,000 for the Titan X, so if they're just reducing the memory on it, they'll probably still charge. I mean, they might go $750, but I think at $750 might take away a lot of sales from the Titan X for just reduced memory. So I think they'll probably go with like $850 would be my guess.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, 850. I'm just like, because I remember that when I forgot it was a 680 or 780. I think it was a 780 Ti. The 780 Ti I remember very well was 90% of Titan at 2/3 the cost. Like at that point, I'm just like, why in the world do you ever want Titan? because the 780 Ti it seems so much better value for money. And it runs almost as fast. Like, why would you ever want Titan? But they
Yeah.
found a way to keep Titan relevant. It's the Big Daddy Veyron of consumer video cards, so I guess there's a point to that.
Yeah, because like I said, if you have $1,000 to spend on graphics, you're going to be able to get about 30% more performance if you go with two 980s over a Titan X. So, you want to say you have the most powerful single card? Sure, the Titan X, but if you want better performance for the money, two 980s is the way to go.
All right, so yeah, I realize I'm probably never gonna have one of these cards in these machines, like these, $1,000 cards, because that money can be put to way better use on a machine. So I don't know, man. If the 980 Ti is in the or whatever they're gonna call it, is in the $500 ballpark, I might look into it though. And that'd be 1/3 of my machine, but still. Anyway.
Yeah, I just don't see Nvidia releasing anything like this anytime soon because the Titan X is just went on sale. So I could maybe see them announcing a 980 Ti, but probably not until the fall because they don't. I mean, you gotta think about it. They release a 980 Ti, for example, and it's pretty much almost performance of Titan X, but it's $750. If it's half the cost, or even $750, and that's really going to cut into the cost of the Titan, to the sales of the Titan X. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, maybe what'll happen is AMD. There's rumors of AMD coming out with their new line of cards and releasing a competitor for the Titan X. And what AMD typically does is they've done it against the previous Titans. They release a competitor that performs just as well at $750. And then that'll start selling well, and at that point, Nvidia will be pressured to release something to compete with that card. So that's what we'll probably end up seeing.
All right. I definitely see that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about AMD, honestly, in this whole thing, because it's AMD can compete. Yeah, they can be a very better value, but the problem is that on their CPU and GPU, and I always kind of have this sense that, AMD is getting a little competitive. Well, Intel and Nvidia are so rich and making so much money, they all have to do is just pump 10% more into R&D and squash whatever advantage AMD had. Done. Problem solved. Now we can go back and celebrate with more money. I always kind of felt like they had that kind of advantage because they're not what they used to be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about. It's maybe you can edge out the GeForce for a little bit, but Nvidia has so much money. Like for example, the 960. They could come out with a 300 series card that can beat the 960 handily, but then Nvidia, I know Nvidia has this because the gap between the 960 and 970 is it's too big. There's clearly a 960 Ti just waiting. We beat the 960. Oh, 960 Ti, see? Problem solved. Okay, back to work, guys. Let's work on Shield. That's it kind of sucks to be AMD sometimes. That's just how I personally feel.
All right.
Well, at least they're more alive in the GPU market than the CPU market. The CPU market, they're just completely dead at this point.
The only CPU market they really have is lower cost laptops.
Budget CPUs and APUs.
Yeah,
game consoles. They own those game consoles.
Yeah, but game consoles isn't exactly saving their butt right now, and I'm pretty sure the margins are pretty low because freaking PS4 is selling faster than any video game console in history. Why isn't AMD swimming in money? Oh, right, because they probably probably the margins that they get on that is pretty darn low because it's not saving their company right now. And yeah, they make the APUs for Xbox One, and they make the GPUs for the Wii U. So they literally have some hand in all the game consoles right now, but they aren't exactly doing too well. And as far as their APUs, the only thing about their APUs that's kind of remotely good is budget laptops and very, very inexpensive entry-level gaming laptops. And by that I mean, I want something that can get me playing games the best for $600 that's brand new. Their APUs can probably handle a game on 720p at medium settings quite well, actually. But Intel's catching up, and yeah, that's a concern also.
All right, so The next piece of news is gaming laptops. They're becoming more and more popular, and I completely understand why. Like building a PC is not as hard as it used to be, but it certainly can be a pain in the ass still. Um, and there are a lot of different manufacturers making great gaming laptops. Alienware, Origin. Well, Razer just did the new Razer Blade for this year. They did their yearly refresh. So, gentlemen, would you like to know what the cost and specs are of a laptop that is as thin as a dime on its side?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, it is $2,000. For $2,000, you get a 1080p display, an Intel i7 4720 HQ running at 2.6 to 3.6 gigahertz, an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970M at 3 gigs, 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, and a 256 gig SSD.
Here's a
All
question.
in-
So I don't know that much information on the because I haven't obviously when I was building my PC I wasn't even looking at the laptops. So when they say like a 970M, what does that compare to the desktop 970? Or when they say 960M, what is that equivalent to the 960 for the desktop?
I think I imagine a 970M either runs like a desktop 960 or a desktop 760 is my guess.
Looking it up right now.
Because I imagine it's
alright.
like 70 or 80%.
So if let's see. I just pulled it up in a forum, so don't take this for 100% truth, but some people are saying a 760. We got some people saying that it's in the same ballpark as a 680. So
Okay.
a 680 is still a pretty fucking legit card by today's standards. Granted, it was a top line card 2.5 years ago, but like a 680 ain't no joke still. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I always loved the Razer line of laptops. Like, I always thought they looked really cool, and I love the idea behind them. But
They're very
like,
sleek for sure.
oh yeah, they're super light. Like they
Easy to travel with.
yeah, they are the MacBooks of gaming laptops, but they also have that MacBook price tag too.
I look at that and I think to myself, all of that power in something as thin as a dime, that must be a nice, chill piece of equipment.
Well, let's keep in mind that at a dime, that's probably at its thinnest point. Let's keep that in mind.
No, I think that actually is at its thickest. Wait a minute, I'll pull it up.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
a mobile processor is almost already almost as thick as a dime, if not thicker than a dime.
On its side, remember. Like, that means if you stood a dime up on its side. So, still, I realize that's ridiculously fucking small, no matter how I say that, but... Give me a minute. Yep, okay. A dime, standing on its side, is 0.71 inches tall. The Razer Blade is 0.70 when it's closed.
Oh, I thought
nuts.
you know what? I was having it a bit wrong because I was thinking thickness of a dime. I wasn't thinking the actual dime standing up height
That's
of
what
a
I was
dime.
thinking.
Yeah.
It like, oh yeah, if it's shorter than the height of a dime, okay, yeah, that I can actually kind of believe.
Yeah, this thing is nuts. Like, like if I had all the money in the world, like that would have been my laptop of choice. I was shopping around, and I really thought about it, but I just could not justify adding an additional $500 to my bill for less RAM and more portability. Like it's a beautiful machine, but like I can't swallow that pill. Like that's too much. Especially because I'd want actual hard drive space, so I'd be paying like $2,500. They did do some benchmarks for it though, and these are all running at 1080p on Ultra. Everything except the U-Engine Haven demo ran at 55 frames or higher. Battlefield 4, Tomb Raider, BioShock, Metro Last Light, everything cranked to max. All run 60 frames plus. So, I mean, if you have buku money and you want a desktop replacement that you can actually like carry with you someplace, not a bad option. Just at that price, I can't justify it. What about you guys?
Yeah, for me, for gaming, I don't game much on the go. If I am gaming, I just play little basic games on my iPhone. I don't really do any gaming on the go anymore, just because when I'm not on the go as much, and when I am on the go, it's because I'm busy at the same time, so I don't have time to play games anyway. So all my gaming is pretty much done at home, so it's not really. It's not. I don't do hardcore gaming on the go, so it would have no point for me.
Like if I was still in college and was spending like a large chunk of my day in between classes up at a college.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then like
Sure.
yeah, because like I had a thin gaming laptop as my first laptop in college. It was the Alienware M11X, and fuck, I love that. Like, oh, I got 3 hours to kill in between classes. Warcraft. Yeah, I had 3 hours to kill in between classes. StarCraft. Things like that. But now, I mean, E3, CES, and PAX. I can hang with this 7-pound thing I have on my desk. Even though I'm probably gonna like start working on a tablet at those events. So anyway, that's the Razor Blade. So Ray and I have been streaming Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
And Grand Theft Auto PC is coming up.
When is it again? Like in
let's see. It is coming out April 14th.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. So
So by the time we record another show, it will be out.
Yep.
Nice.
In fact, I think it comes out a couple days. Yeah, this posts on the 11th. So it'll be about 3 days after this. Anyway,
And who will be buying that? I will be. I will be, once I get my 4K TV, playing that in 4K. But even now, even though I don't have a 4K TV, I will still be playing it 1080p max, at least 60 frames per second. So, gonna enjoy all that greatness.
Yeah, like I watched the trailer. We're watching the trailer of it running at 60 frames.
Good.
It looks super good. It looks even better than the PS4 version, which already looked great.
Oh, it blows it away. Like, if you've seen the screenshot comparisons, absolutely blows it away. The vegetation's on a whole nother level. The environments are just completely redone. It looks like a whole different game.
Dude, I have to buy this game a third time now.
Yeah.
I got a new video card. I need to buy Grand Theft Auto 5. Hey, look, Steam sale.
4, and now I'll be buying it on PC. This is going to be the first time I've ever bought a game 3 times.
I think
the same game.
I think I'm gonna wait until I have that new computer before I buy this version.
Well, yeah, by then you can probably get it on Steam sale for like
a nickel.
But it's like me and Bronson were talking about last time. We always mention how beautiful this game looks, like artistic wise. Like no matter where you go, it's flawless artwork pretty much everywhere. Like the grass, the flowers,
like wildlife is
there's
running out there.
bugs flying around the flowers that you can see, and it's just like imagine this on the PC.
They've shown screenshots, and it's completely ridiculous. It makes the PS4 version look awful. Seriously, if you look at the PC screenshots next to the PS4, it makes the PS4 look awful. Like just downright, like you're like, oh, the PlayStation 4 looks amazing. But then you do the PC version, you're like, yeah, the PS4 version actually looks pretty bad.
Yeah, so, I'm actually pulling up the PC requirements for this game too. Hold on.
They're actually not high at all.
They're not that bad looking at them.
They're not high at all.
The recommended specs, since no one runs at minimum. Let's be real. You need an i5 3470, 8 gigs of RAM, and an NVIDIA GTX 660. I mean, other than the video card, I'm great to go on those. And on the minimum, you need a Intel Core 2 quad at 2.4 gigahertz, four cores, 4 gigs of RAM, and an NVIDIA 9800 GT.
Oh my gosh, a 9800.
Wait, this is Grand Theft Auto on PC.
Yeah.
And this is a minimum spec, right?
Yeah.
9800 GT? Holy crap, that's like 2008.
I just really hope this doesn't turn out like GTA 4 did on the PC or LA Noire, where like you're really excited, it's going to look a lot better, it's going to run a lot better, and it takes them 3 years to get it so it actually works no matter what your specs are. Like that game was so poorly optimized for PC that even like 2 years later, Theo's machine, which was rocking, what was it, 2 770s?
Something like that.
Yeah, which were brand new cards at the time, mind you. couldn't get it to max it all the time. So I'm really hoping that all this extra time on the PC version like pays off and it doesn't run like shit. So,
Yeah. Well, if they put the minimum specs that low, you kind of hope that it runs well when, your laptop processor blows the 9800 out of the water very, very easily.
yeah, and the
Heck,
recommended
my
is
550 Ti blows a 78, blows like freaking 9800 out of the water very, very easily.
yeah, and the recommended specs are a 660, which that isn't like super high end.
That's not too high at all. I mean, freaking, that's slightly lower than Nick's old GPU card.
Yeah, I think
That-
that's slightly higher than mine, right? Yeah,
That
the
isn't like
660.
that. This isn't like I was thinking. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5's coming to PC. Are we gonna look at like 80% of the Witcher 3 specs? Oh wait, what? A 660? That's kind of surprising. Because at this point, 660 is a little old.
Yeah. But yeah, that's good. I'm it's good. Like they're going for that broad audience. Hopefully, it runs well. All right, moving down the PC storyline. This one, so we did a 60-minute access for a game. I reviewed a game called Ori and the Blind Forest. It is on PC and Xbox One, and will be arriving on 360 later this year. And Microsoft really pushed this game hard, and I really liked it. I gave it a positive review. I gave it a 9. I thought it was a great game. And apparently it was profitable after the first week. And their team is exploring hiring new talent.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that game was really cool. I'm super hyped about that. Anthony, your take?
It is probably one of the most professional presentations I've ever seen from a game in recent memory.
That beginning is
They're
the
like-
saddest
they're-
fucking thing ever.
It's like there are games that I mean, granted, I don't see much of the story, and yeah, the beginning's kind of sad, but it's probably not the saddest thing I've ever seen, and probably after reading Yahtzee's editorial on why it probably isn't the saddest thing. Yeah, I don't really know too much about the story, but as far as from the presentation viewpoint, I think it has to be so professional because I've seen pretty games, I've seen games that push the boundaries of tech, but as far as finesse and making it all flow well, that game is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
and it probably doesn't like. And because it's more of a two-dimensional art style, I don't think they have to worry too much about HDR lighting or this fancy effect or that fancy effect. It's just a lot of clever two-dimensional-ish animation. It's really, really well thought out.
Yeah, I reviewed that game on Xbox One, so I didn't get to try the PC version, which I imagine looks even better. But that game was gorgeous, had this wonderful presentation. It's super sad. Granted, the first 15 minutes of it is basically Bambi. Yeah, that game was good on them. Like, I'm glad about that. That game had a small studio, didn't have much money going into it, and ended up being a big thing for them. Good on them. Good for Microsoft. Speaking of games that... So, Anthony, you remember in 2013 we read that news story about the fine folks over at Square Enix being disappointed in Tomb Raider's performance?
Yeah, that was really stupid.
Yeah, well, they're probably not disappointed right now. Tomb Raider was probably the best version that was on the PC until the PS4 remake came out. And even then, they're about on par with each other if you run that game on Max. And even now, that game is used as a benchmark test for PC. Those tress effects, all that hair. I love dumb video card like selling points.
Yeah, because it's like we gotta push the boundary of tech somehow, even if it means coming out with really stupid ideas. Like Mantle, okay, there was kind of a point to Mantle because I think that's what ultimately was part of the reason why DirectX 12 existed the way it does now. So, Mantle had a point. Tress effects? No, I'm sorry. Like, Square Enix, like, the Final Fantasy team can figure out hair without having to use tress effects, okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it.
Like, I heard about Tress effects, and I'm just like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard of. And you can actually see Tress effects in the PS4 version if you want to. And it actually does make NVIDIA, like, if you are running that on an NVIDIA card, which those don't support Tress effects, and you turn it on, the game just, like, drops, like, 5 frames. And it's just like, what the fuck? Really? All this for hair?
I mean, it was like, guys, Square Enix already figured out the hair. It was called Final Fantasy 13, and guess what? Those things didn't have Radeon GPUs in them. In fact, the frickin' PS3 had an Nvidia GPU in it. So frickin' frickin' the guys at the Final Fantasy team already figured out how to make hair look amazing, okay? And obviously anime hair has to look amazing or else. So, you know, they obviously had to get it right. So there you go. You don't need Tress effects.
All them kawaii anime boys need to look perfect.
All the kawaii.
Well, yeah.
I just love how that during this entire conversation about hair and anime boys, Ray is just pointing to the Goku figure on my desk. All right.
I'm saying he's on point.
He is on point with that red Super Saiyan hair. Just spiked it up. All right, so moving forward, next piece of news: Halo Online. We all heard about this, right?
Yeah.
This
Yes.
weird Russia only free to play Halo game. Well, online modders are fighting to make the game playable for everyone. A group known as El Dorito has taken an early build of the game and worked it to make it accessible to PC gamers outside of Russia, despite requests from Microsoft to cease such efforts. The game was going to be free in the first place, says modder Neo Shadow 42. The PC audience has been screaming for Halo 3 for years and years. We saw this chance with this leak. The fact we could, in theory, bring the game that everyone wants without the added-on stuff that would ruin the game, that's something we're proud of. Microsoft has announced a DSCMA takedown, but El Torito has no intention of stopping. In fact, the team has backups in place to ensure they can continue because the game is free to play. The group doesn't believe what they're doing is ethically wrong. At the end of the day, El Dorito aims to deliver exactly what everyone wants, the closest thing to Halo 3 as possible on PC.
I totally agree that releasing it only in Russia, I don't understand what they're thinking there. Doesn't make any sense to me. Is it ethically wrong? Absolutely. I mean, you're taking someone else's property and distributing it without their permission. Absolutely, without a question, it's unethical. But could it turn into a positive? Maybe they'll eventually convince Microsoft to do it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
This is dumb on all parts. Everyone involved in this is fucking stupid in my mind.
I think, like, the fact that it is a free-to-play... I mean, it is everything that you've never seen from a Halo game before. It is free-to-play. It's online. And Halo hasn't been on PC since Halo 2 on Games for Windows Live.
Which came out in 07, which
was 07. That was a long time ago. That's like, that's like 7.5 years ago.
They tried to make that the game that was going to be, like, legitimize the Games for Windows platform, and no one gave a shit.
But Halo 2 existed on PC, so, you know, okay, there's that going for it, even though it was on...
They shut down the servers like a year and a half ago. That was fun.
But at least Halo 2 was on Windows, even though it was on a really bloated, slow, unlikable version of Windows. Vista was that bad in the day. But I said, I really don't know how to feel about this whole thing. I really don't know how to feel about the existence of a free-to-play online PC Halo game in the first place. And then it's like, it's available only to Russia. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, why only Russia? Is there like some political or ethical or whatever reason that exists as to why it can't exist anywhere else, like, say, the biggest market of Halo?
That's weird.
I mean, and then of course it seems like, well, it's free. We can just, distribute it around the world because it's free. It's not like they're making any money off of it. But at the same time, it's like,
Oh, it's totally gonna have like armor and skins and shit. Like I get,
yeah.
you know, they're gonna have
I
some
think
paid play shit in there.
I think the analogy I would use is like, say you've got a YouTube video that it's free to watch. Maybe you have to deal with a 30-second ad to get to that video, but technically you're watching that video for free, and then you take that video and repost it to your channel. Technically, that's violating copyright and law, even though the video was free to watch. Unless you had permission. Like, there are legalities that says you can't take someone else's video and repost it even though you can watch it for free. Without their permission, there's still a problem there.
I think this is super stupid on both parts. I think that Microsoft should just release this game in every territory, and I think, especially in the States, and I think that these modders need to realize that, guys, this shit's illegal. I realize that there's a big community that wants to play Halo on the PC. I get it. But, like, you guys just need to wait. Anyway, we should move to the next story. This podcast was founded on a love of Blizzard Entertainment.
Really? You don't say.
We got a lot of Blizzard news. I'm not going to go through months of Blizzard news, but I'm going to go through the most recent. So, Anthony, World of Warcraft, I want you to start playing that with me again someday.
Someday. You're going to have to drag me away from Heaven's Ward first.
That's all right. Well, what if I told you if you can farm enough gold in game, it can be free?
Depends how much gold and how long it'll take for me to farm that much gold.
Okay, well, not very far long, because never mind, I won't go into details. But they have announced the cost of a WoW token. Those of you who don't know what a WoW token is, you buy it, and then you put it up on the auction house for someone else to buy, and when they buy it, they can use it and get 30 days of game time. Or you're like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. So you buy it for 20. So let's say, Anthony, Ray has more money than time. Let's say this magical world happens, where he has more money than time.
This is a very magical world you're talking about here.
This world.
Ray, what, Ray?
I love this world. It sounds amazing.
Okay, Ray has more money than time, and he can pay $20 to get a WoW token, but he doesn't have the time to get gold in game. Just doesn't have the time to do it. He wants to buy the new stuff for his garrison. He wants these epic mounts, but he can't afford it. Well, he can buy one of these for $20, throw it up on the auction house, and let's say a guy like me, who plays the game a lot, doesn't have a lot of cash because he works for the devil. Wants to play more WoW but can't afford it. Well, I can give Ray the 30,000 gold for 30 days of WoW.
Interesting.
That is really cool.
So yeah. I think this is a fucking wonderful idea. I would have murdered this for this to be around when I was in high school. But yeah, this is super cool. I'm totally down with this. I wish more MMOs did it. I hope this moves to Final Fantasy and any other MMO that's currently charging a subscription. Anthony, being the most experienced in MMOs, what's your take on this?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this works. So you have a token, and when someone else purchases the token,
Wait, can you use it?
They can use it. All right.
So this token can be traded for subscription time.
Oh, okay. So the token is worth 30 days of subscription time.
Okay.
And you can use it yourself, or you can put it on the auction house, and someone else can buy it and use it.
So this token's going to be subject to the laws of supply and demand, then.
Yes.
So which means people who know how to abuse gold farming, well, I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't say abuse, but know how to make lots of gold don't have to pay for a subscription because they know all the little tricks to make ultimate money, whereas I don't.
I mean, yeah, that's one way you could look at it. I look at
Like
it
that's
this way,
that's
though.
my concern is like I like there's like if I can never afford this token because all the other people who know all the magical mining spots to mine all the perfect ores, know how to say get these perfect items and make so much gold, and then here I am unable to get a token, and then I actually have to go out and pay $15 for one.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. But they also said they're going to offer the token for 30,000 gold, like through the Blizzard store. Also,
I can't
So, I
remember
mean,
how much gold I have, but I only have like 2,000 or something. I
things-
forgot how much I had. It's been a
Anthony,
long time.
things have changed. Let me tell you.
Okay, well, I don't have that much money, and inflation has happened since. Okay, inflation is just a
Yes.
thing that inflation exists inside these virtual economies too. In Final Fantasy XIV, 1.5 million, Gil, is that how you pronounce it? Jill,
Yeah, Gil.
potato,
It was Gil.
potato, Gil. Okay. 1.5 million gil used to be a colossal fortune that took an entire guild of like 30 or 40 active members a couple months or more to save just so they can afford a small house in the game. Now, today, 1.5 million isn't actually that bad. I could probably earn 1.5 million in like a month if I'm really frugal, and that's not me doing anything special to earn money. That's just me like doing regular things and being frugal.
Yeah, like I look at 30,000 gold in Warcraft today, and I very much think that that's a good chunk of change, but it's not unrealistic. Like on my main, I have 12,000, but like I don't go out of my way to try and earn gold. Like if I actually like went out of my way to earn gold, I could probably clear 30,000 in a week. You know, so I mean, like I don't like. And once again, I see this as a good thing because like I would have murdered for this in high school. Like in high school, I would have fucking murdered.
You wouldn't
this.
have murdered. You would have farmed and worked for it.
And
Virtually.
that probably would have involved murder. Yeah, that probably
You
would have.
mean going out to PvP and getting your money that way, or?
I mean, yeah, killing mobs.
Yeah, that's
I
what you do in
remember-
MMO basically, right? Is that you basically earn money by going out to whatever dungeon and slaying the same monster that keeps coming back. It's like spiders.
I remember that. Oh, so it's my basement.
Well, it is a dungeon because it's underground, you know.
Yeah, and it floods occasionally, like a dungeon would, and it is filled with giant spiders. So my basement is
How giant are we talking about here? Because like we're up at high altitude, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, like they're not like fucking Australia. Like, oh, this spider is the size of a pigeon, but they're they're for like I'd say like
Quarter size?
like a little bit bigger than a quarter.
Yeah. 50-cent piece.
Yeah, like they're the size of a 50-cent piece.
Okay, so to me that's already pretty huge, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the world's laughing.
Yeah, like there's someone in Australia who is just laughing their ass off as their like pet tarantula crawls all over their face.
Oh, I think you shared this video of like 10 questions that Australians ask to the United States.
All right.
Like one of those questions was, why does all of your money look exactly the same? Because in lots of parts of the world, like in Asia and in Australia, they color code the money, so you know which bill is which. But in the US, they're all colored exactly the same. They just have different numbers and faces on it. So that pisses Australians off. They also wonder why our soft drink sizes are so colossally big, because in Australia they're actually illegal. They don't know why we're so obsessed with ranch dressing. They don't know why we care about.
Metric system thing.
I am a grown man living in America, and I don't get obsessed why we're obsessed with ranch, because ranch dressing is disgusting.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I agree.
and then they're like, "Why is it called ranch dressing? Does it, give you memories of the ranch? Does it have flavors only associated with the ranch? I don't know. Like to me, it's like ranch. It's like the only time I ever really think about ranch is to dip my carrot in. That's it."
These savages choose to put it on buffalo wings and pizza,
It's just
and
wrong.
I'm like, first off, you people who put it on pizza, you're savages. You're monsters.
Yeah, that's what the
You
video
are
pointed out
ru-
too. It's like, why do you need to dip pizza in ranch?
You are ruining pizza. Ray and I eat pizza a lot because
Yeah.
Little Caesars is by our work. And
It's almost as bad as our boss drinking Verde salsa.
yeah, like our boss drinks Verde salsa, and that is
straight out the bottle.
like straight out of the bottle. Like she bought that green Taco Bell Verde salsa and will just drink it during her shift.
That's disgusting.
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes,
agree.
It really is.
She drinks the salsa out of the jar.
With a straw,
yes,
occasionally.
she with a straw every now and then. It's not
That's
a jar.
disgusting.
It's not a jar. It's a bottle.
Yeah.
But she literally
So-
just
It
drinks
doesn't
the
make it any
salsa.
better, but
Yeah, she will drink it. Just straight drink it.
That is extremely weird.
Oh yeah, no, we know.
Yeah.
We have repeatedly told her how disgusting it is.
Oh
the
yeah,
entire work has.
Yeah.
and other things Australians wonder what the hell.
No,
with
what was the one before the drink sizes? That's another one I wonder about the States because like we were at
No,
Wendy's
it's only
earlier
that,
today.
but it's a giant 30-ounce of diet soda. Diet.
Here's the thing, people. If you're gonna do that, just go all the way with it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like just order a regular fucking Coke if that's what you really want. Second off, we were at Wendy's earlier today and I ordered a medium drink, thinking, oh, this will be enough for like a person, right? Medium. That sounds normal sized. And I get it. It's just like, boom.
Well,
Not
but yeah,
close.
Wendy's drink sizes are ridiculous.
At least it's not as confusing as Starbucks drink sizes.
Oh, fucking
Yeah, those are like I can never tell.
Wendy's medium. I remember not so long ago I got a meal there with a medium, and I got the cup. I was like, "This is a medium." Like I don't even want to know how big the freaking large is. If this is a freaking medium,
No, I remember-
huge.
Takes
I
two
don't
hands
even want to
hold.
know what the extra large was because there was a point when McDonald's actually did sell extra large, and because of health activists, they actually got rid of extra large, and I don't know what they did with large at that point.
I told that thought I might actually have a picture of that of what a
Extra
of what a large at Wendy's looks like. Give me a minute.
Yeah, the Australians in that video also pointed out that those giant drink sizes are actually illegal in Australia.
That is stupid to me. Like if you
Yeah,
want to give
that's stupid
that's
because then
really-
you're like, okay, it's too big. Okay, I'll just take 3 medium drinks then.
Yeah,
like-
they'll just do that.
Like I don't care what you say. If someone wants to, they'll get that. It's just like you
And-
might say, "Oh, don't have a half-pound burger." Well, it's like, okay, then I'll just order 2 quarter-pounders.
yeah.
People will get what they want.
Okay, never mind. It was a medium. Like I remember this like almost 3 years ago in June. I ordered a medium over at Wendy's.
I found it. A large drink at Wendy's is 40 ounce.
Dear
40
fucking
ounces.
God.
40 ounces of soda.
How many liters is that? That's like almost
That's almost like a
that's like a
jug of
that's
soda.
that's like a liter and a quarter.
yeah.
Because I know a liter and a half is like 64 ounces.
So that's more than half of a 2-liter of soda. That's ridiculous.
So that's a little over half. Of a
40
2 liter.
fluid
Hey.
40 fluid ounces. That is 1.18 liters.
To be fair, KFC has a mega-sized jug that's 64 ounces.
Yeah, so the 7-Eleven.
And that's just insane.
Like
So you could have
you know,
nearly 2 liters of drink. Really?
No one needs that for
I-
$1.70.
like I go to 7-Eleven for lunch sometimes because it's also by our work because you can get a hot dog and a drink for $2.
All the time.
It's a hot dog, a drink, and some crackers. I spend $3. I'm full for the day. And like it's like, oh yeah, for $1 you can get the fucking ultra mega gulp
And
Let-
a hot dog.
and a hot dog. It's like
Well, that's what they get you at the gas stations because, like, a lot of the gas stations, it's $1 regardless of size.
same with McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's $1 Yeah, but McDonald's doesn't have these ridiculous
Dude,
sizes.
McDonald's still has their extra large, which like every
Are
time.
you sure they still have their extra
No, they
large?
don't.
No, they don't. Okay,
They got
but they're
rid of it
still-
because of
They have that.
Yeah, I was
heroin
about to say, I
guy
know they have their
invented, though.
large, which it's big, but it's still somewhat reasonable. But these gas stations, yeah, like I said, they have these like 64 fluid ounce cup size, and it's like, the problem is someone's going to spend $1 regardless. So most people are going to be like, well, I'll just take the bigger one because if I don't finish it, I don't finish it. I'm paying the same price, and then they end up finishing it.
Yeah, like that's my logic, and every single time I'm like, why the fuck did I order a large?
Well, to be fair, like Bronson, the other day we were at McDonald's and I made that like mixed drink for you, and you chugged it in like 4 seconds.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay, so Ray has this magical devil drink that's like high C and fruit passion and something else. It is the most delicious soda I've ever tasted in my entire life. It is amazing. What is this?
It's basically when I was working at McDonald's, I got bored a lot, so I made this. And it's like almost a full cup of high C, and then like a little bit of like the strawberry passion, so it fills up and it's like that weird like blood orange color.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's basically it. Then you just stir it together. And like, Lily, I gave it to you, and you're like, how is this? And then by the time we walked to the door from the drink thing, it was empty.
Like, that thing was amazing. The only problem I have with that, and this is just
makes you thirsty.
Is A, it makes me thirsty, and B, you put ice in it.
That's just
Yeah, I don't put ice in any of my drinks because the machine dispenses it cold anyway.
true.
I'm just like,
It's just a habit kind of for ice. At this
yeah,
point.
like
I prefer it without, but
like I broke that habit because I realized I get more drink this way.
true.
See, for me, it kind of depends how fast I drink it, because if I don't drink it very fast, I kind of want it to stay cold.
And also, it waters down the drink too, which I don't like.
Yeah, that's what you have to.
But you drink it too fast for that to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. So huge drink sizes is something Australians are happy. Another thing they're not very happy about. Why in the world do we still use the penny? They got rid of the penny in the early 90s.
Fuck pennies.
There is no point
Fuck
for that
pennies.
to exist.
Like, Australia got rid of the penny in the early 90s, I think.
You
There's no point for that to
you
exist.
know my anti-penny stance. Fuck pennies. I've been saying fuck pennies for years now.
I agree with that.
I mean,
So-
I feel like the only purpose of a penny is to troll the cashier. That's really all I could think of. Oh, you got a car at impound, pay in pennies. Because it's technically considered legal tender and they have to accept it.
Oh, if we want to go back to games, my friend bought a gaming laptop, like $1,800 laptop from a shop, and he paid in pennies because he hated the store owner.
That's a
How
good
do
way to do
you how do you
things.
transport all those pennies? You have to take like a couple dump trucks and dump all the pennies onto his parking lot.
Like he had a he had a truck, and he literally filled the entire back up with like boxes of pennies.
I think there's services you can pay them to do something like that. Because I had a friend that he got like a speeding ticket or something like that, and he had to pay like $250, and he had it delivered in pennies. I think I don't know, I'd have to look, but I think there's services you can pay, and it says you probably pay them a percentage, and they end up doing it for you. But it's
Yeah,
pretty
like,
cool.
like that's the one thing the penny is good for, is just like trolling payments, basically.
Yeah, like I remember that I've done that at like a game store because like the manager and their employees would always give me shit. So I'm just like, okay, fine.
This is happening.
I am paying for my next game in pennies. Fuck you all. Yeah, no, fuck you. Fuck
Go to the
you.
bank and ask for $60 in pennies and see what they say.
They'll do it.
Yeah,
They
ask
don't-
questions, but they'll do it.
Yeah, like they'll ask questions, but they'll fucking do it. So
It's legal tender. They have to accept it. Like, you could like cause a fuss, and you could even get the cops involved, and they'll probably say, "Yeah, legally, this is real money, so you have to take it."
you know,
Yeah,
This
how
is
much? Like, freaking! Oh my goodness.
this is fucking stupid. Just so much.
Yeah. Other things to talk about. Why do your pharmacies sell beer?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, like, I
that's the
sit here and I'm
American
just like,
standard.
that's a good point. Our pharmacies do sell beer.
What? You know what?
It makes sense to me. I don't see a problem with that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it sells like
Yeah.
minor groceries anyways. You might as well throw beer in the mix.
Yeah, like
Essentially.
I used to work for a produce store. We didn't just sell just fucking
Water.
we didn't just sell produce. Like we sold fucking sodas and candy and all kinds of shit. Like you can still go to my grandfather's shop and get motherfucking candy bars.
Yeah, and I think
I
like
actually really fucking hated when like I like orange soda a lot. Like I really fucking hated when you started to carry that shit because I would buy some like once a day, and that's like $1 isn't that much, but like once a day, 6 days a week, that adds up kind of quick. Yeah. So anyway, Anthony, you were saying.
yeah. So I think like what was it? I can't remember the whole thing, but the last thing they talked about was like, why isn't like the final price be the price tag instead of the sales tax added after the fact at the register.
That's so fun. That for me is more annoying on bigger purchases.
Like, for example, like in the US, the only time you ever see that is like gas, $3 a gallon. Well, $3 a gallon is $3 a gallon. Makes sense. Problem is that
but when you come to California, there's a cash price and a card price.
yeah, but still, what you see is what you pay.
No, that's
At
here
least
too. That's some gas stations here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
but-
That seriously surprised me. In North Carolina, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Well,
and,
I mean, we already talked about a lot of the difference between North Carolina and fucking the West Coast. Like that whole like here, if a cop catches you smoking weed, they're probably like put it out and then go away.
Oh,
In
yeah,
North-
North Carolina, you're getting locked up for a while.
In North Carolina, they're gonna beat you with nightsticks.
Yeah, pretty much you just got caught with coke over there is what they pretty much how they treat it.
Yeah, like going to different regions of this country, you know, with my family, and then talking to my family from other different regions of the country, has made me realize how like this is not one country; it is 50 mini countries. At times, like holy hell.
wow. But yeah,
Back
I guess,
to PC stuff. We brought in unscripted access into here.
Yeah, we
We
do that.
brought
all
the
time.
raid into unscripted access, and now we're bringing unscripted access into the raid.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say to that. I'm a little dumbfounded.
Sorry. Where did we leave off from?
I think we were talking about Grand Theft Auto and PC and that
we
spec
talked about
sheet.
WoW tokens.
WoW tokens, yeah.
Yeah, Blizzard.
Blizzard, because we have one. I have one more story, and then we got then we're done. All right. So so WoW tokens, neat idea. I hope it carries over to MMOs, other MMOs. Like I would love to start playing Final Fantasy and be able to pay with in-game currency. That'd be fantastic. You know, like granted, I'm probably still gonna pay for WoW in cash, but like I really wish this existed when I was in high school. Like back in high school, I had a lot more free time. I was playing that game pretty much like 4 hours a day, and like I could have easily afforded fucking WoW tokens. like I would not have paid for WoW all of high school and part of college. All right, so the last piece of news I have is regarding one of Ray and I's favorite titles, and one I've been trying to, like, pretty much begging Anthony to play at this point.
With not much success. I mean, I freaking am in the beta. I could install it.
No, not that one. Not that one. Though I do want...
Oh.
Yeah,
That
no,
other one that takes like 10 minutes, that takes like 2 minutes to download, then I never get around to.
Yeah, like, the one that John, Ray, and I all play, and you don't. So, well, it is Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. They have announced, they announced their new expansion and it is officially out as of this week. It is called Blackrock Mountain, and they've announced the specs. So there's going to be a total of 4 wings, and there's going to be a total of 31 new cards, 18 class cards, so 2 for each class. 5 legendaries and 8 neutrals. Neutrals are cards you can use on any deck. Then one of the big things for this expansion is they're pushing to be able to make a dragon deck. So with all the cards they have in this, you can definitely make a dragon deck. I know Ray, you and I looked over the legendaries.
Yeah.
I have them on screen now. What are your thoughts? Who do you like?
I definitely think they all play to a different strategy. Like Cro-Magnus, it's if you have another card, it puts the same one into your hand, so you could literally just wreck things with that thing.
Like if you have Fireball with that,
Yeah, that would just end it.
yeah.
Like if you draw Fireball, you're getting 2. Or there's ones where if it dies, it summons an even stronger monster to the field, another legendary. Add 2 spells to your hand from your opponent's class.
I think like Nefarian, that add 2 random spells to your hand from your opponent's class, is useful in almost any deck.
Yeah, because literally, like, spells can mess you up with any class, no matter what you're playing against.
Yeah, Major Domo is definitely good. Death Rattle summons Ragnaros. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. If you can keep that thing alive, that can be real deadly.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's also like Ren Blackhand, who literally, if you destroy,
If you're holding a dragon,
it destroys a legendary minion on the field, and I'm just like, it seems like that's only helpful in certain situations.
yeah, like that card isn't going to be used much. See, we'll pull up some of the neutrals. Cost 1 less mana for each minion that died this turn to summon. So, like, if you have, like, 4 things die, you can summon this thing for way less. It has high attack. If your opponent has 15 or less health, gain 3 attack on 3 defense.
Whenever this minion survives getting hurt, summon a Grim Patron. So summon the same monster he is.
Yeah. I know to Anthony and Nick, we're talking a different language here. But,
Yep.
It's a trading card game.
but they've just really built this entire thing about dragons. Like, I actually really want to, like, spend the $20 on this expansion and build a dragon deck. Like, whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2-for-1 whelp. Dude, with Leroy Jenkins, that card would be evil.
To be fair, I'm like half in on this. Bronson's like knows everything, and I'm just like, ooh, these are.
Yeah, I'm. Let's see. If you're holding a dragon, gain 1 attack, 1 defense.
Holding a dragon, deal 3 damage.
Yeah, some of these could be dude. Like, Blackwing Technician with a dragon deck. Oof.
That would just OP.
Yeah, like that's. I like a lot of these new cards. They're gonna change the meta up pretty good. The class cards seem really cool. You know, like the Paladin one, the next dragon you play costs 2 less. That's super cool. Draw 2 cards, costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Like, that's cool. This one in a priest deck is going to be OP as hell. Summon a random friendly minion that died this game.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know. Hearthstone is awesome. If you have a PC or a Mac or an iPhone,
Soon to iPhone.
or an iPhone soon, but currently an iPad or an Android tablet, play Hearthstone. It is free and it is fucking amazing. Like, seriously, like Ray and I will just come home and sit down and play it for like 4 hours. Fucking crack.
With the whole thing with that, I love the whole deck building aspect. I love strategizing. I always enjoyed that. So even if you're not like into the big game itself, you could always just sit back around just doing that.
Does anybody else have any PC news?
Oh, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the raid, guy. Oh, derp.
We
Kinda
need to
forgot.
build something.
Yeah, we need to build something. I'm sorry, we talked about news. So, for those of you who are following the site, we announced our PC gaming line. We are partnered with the fine folks over at ACI Moondog. As you saw on our panel, we gave away gift cards and had banners up. We are their gaming line. We pick the parts, we pick everything with them, and it's endorsed by us and their technicians. And on this show, we're going to pick the parts for each price tier of $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000. Obviously, this is subject to change because we still have to talk to Moondog and see the wholesale prices of things. But theoretically, we're going to have some pretty awesome PCs up in the future for you guys to buy, hopefully within the next week or two. And actually, if you call them right now, they will, if you give them a price range and what you want to do with it, they'll do their best to accommodate you. Just mention the Gamer Access, and they'll be sure to know that we sent you. So, Anthony.
Yes.
$1,000 computers. Those are things.
They are things.
All right. So, Anthony, we are making a $1,000 computer for everyone in the audience to purchase. What parts are we putting in this thing?
Well, that's a really big question because there's a lot of parts that you could put in this thing.
All right, let's say for the sake of argument, we're doing the same case across all of them. Let's say it's a full tower.
So we're gonna say John's case.
Yeah, we'll go a full tower. Maybe on the high end, maybe on the $3,000 machine, we'll put something fancy in. But let's go a full tower for now. Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up John's case right now. I forgot which one it was. It was a Corsair Carbide Series 200R Black Steel. It's a mid-tower. Which should be a fine because I used it for John's system and it had a lot of space in it. Like, it had more space than a $1,000 system really needs, but yeah, I'll go for that one. It's a $60 case, apparently.
It's a what, Anthony? You cut out.
It's a $60 case.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
highly
Sounds
rated,
good.
but it's awesome. Has USB 3.0 on the front, on the back, and it comes with one intake front fan at the front and one exhaust fan in the back. But you can actually mount even more fans if you want. You can mount fans on the top. You can mount fans on the lid. You could do quite a bit with this case, and it had pretty good build quality when I looked at it. In addition, the power supply is mounted at the bottom of the case, so I think that actually helped cleared up a little bit of room. So that was nice. So we'll go with that case. It's a $60 case though. So
All right. So for the case, we're obviously going Windows 8.1, so that's gonna be $100.
yeah, that's gonna be about $120.
Okay, so we're at
Which for all of you out there, look, for those people out there who think, oh, Windows is so expensive, I'll just pirate it. Okay, you know what? Here's my argument. You're paying only $120 for an operating system that you use every single freaking day. Okay? I mean, people pay $60 for games that they don't even finish or only play for only like 20 hours, whereas your operating system is literally the thing that powers your system every single day that you turn it on. $120 isn't that bad. And it's cheaper than the $180 or $190 I paid for a copy of Windows 7 back in 2011. So they're making it cheaper, and you know, yeah, 8.1 is so bad. Well, it's okay, yeah, depending how you look at it, yeah, it can be kind of lame. It takes some getting used to. So we'll throw in a copy of 8.1 because that's mandatory.
Okay, so we got a copy of, so we're at 180. What are we doing for a motherboard?
For a motherboard for a $1,000 build, I don't think this thing is going to be overclocking anytime soon, so I would suggest an Intel H97 chipset.
Yeah, I would agree.
The Z series is more for enthusiasts, but that's obviously more expensive. So we're going to go H97. Hopefully a full ATX, because we might as well give this thing some future-proofing.
Yeah, like I'd say we definitely want to future-proof the motherboard so they can add an i7 down the line or a bigger graphics card.
Yeah. So we actually have to go look for one. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit hard. I'm trying to look as I'm doing this. H97. So the H97 chipset is currently the newest and up-to-date Intel chipset that you have for these boards. This part gets a little tricky because they have the H series. There's the H97, and oh my god, what chipsets do they have? I need to look.
I think we're probably gonna have to go an i5 quad core. I definitely want to go a quad in this because anything.
Well, the good news is that most desktop variants of the i5 are actually quad core. They just don't have hyper-threading in them.
Oh.
The Intel line of CPUs gets pretty complicated because the mobiles are not the same. Like, for example, a freaking i5 on a laptop is usually a dual core with hyper-threading, I think. But on the desktop, it is a quad core with no hyper-threading. And a quad core that has hyper-threading is an i7. But if it's low voltage, then it might be a different story. Like freaking i7's on i7 on laptops. It's supposed to be quad core, right? Actually, if it has a U on it, it's a dual core. It's a low voltage dual core. If it's an i7 with the U on it. It's a mess sometimes trying to figure this thing out.
Okay.
So, well, we need to figure out the brand of motherboard we need to put into this thing. So, thankfully, Intel has simplified their chipset lineup because there's only 2 chipsets you could get for this thing. You can have an H97 or Z97, which is a lot better than the old days because in 2011 you had the choice between the H61, H67, P67, Q67, and Z67. Tell me the difference between all those. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess. Now it's like H is the consumer one, Z is more for enthusiasts. So we go with the H because it's cheaper. Although Z chipsets is all over the place. So as far as motherboard brands, I lean towards Asus or Asus, however you pronounce that. I lean towards that brand a lot. Partly because I have one and it works pretty well.
No, I've heard good things about Asus, and that's what Origin uses in theirs also.
And I sit here and, well, there's quite a few things to choose from. So we want a ATX. The H series, there is an ATX version, right? Yes, there is. There's 3. So if we have a choice between the Plus and the Pro, I would go for the Pro, which is $105. Okay, so now that's it. So H97 chipset uses a LGA 1150 socket. This is one of the other things about PC building that kind of you can get a bit of snag with. You actually have to check to make sure that the sockets work. Okay, like there's a difference between the 1155, 1156, and 1150. It was 1156, then the new socket was 1155, which is what my system uses, but then they changed it to 1150. It's hella confusing, I know. So we're gonna look for a quad-core i5. I can't believe they're still advertising FX processors from AMD on this website. Let's see, it's 1150, we want a Core i5. Haswell architecture, the latest architecture. Let's go with, oh, here's a pretty good one. Let's go with the Intel Core i5 4570 Haswell quad core.
Okay.
200. Actually, maybe that one's a bit too much. Maybe we can go. No, let's go with the 4430 because that's $20 cheaper.
All right. So
you lose 200 megahertz on the clock speed, but it's $20 cheaper at 185.
Okay. Wait. Which is this? Which one is this? Sorry.
The Core i5 4430.
All right. Yeah. The 40. All right. Got it.
You lose 200 megahertz, but you cut $20 off the price.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Next part. Memory.
16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, 16 is a good number.
Yeah.
For this motherboard, we're going to be using DDR3 1600 megahertz.
That's what's in my current machine, so that's perfect.
Yeah. There's no overclocking, so there's no point in going more expensive. So we'll go for 1600. I usually use G.Skill because they happen to be one of the biggest suppliers of RAM, and that's what I have in my system. I also think they have some awesome aesthetic designs to their memory sticks.
I think to me it doesn't even matter as long as it like is reviewed semi well and has a decent warranty. Like I really don't.
Yeah, you never really look at it, right? Because it's inside your computer, smacked up against the fan.
Yeah, and even when I had like a case with a glass side, you know.
Yeah, but I still usually go with them. So let's see, 1300, 1600. We want 2 8GB sticks, so that way they can stick 32 in the future if they want to.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
That leaves a bit of room in there. Oh man, lots of choices. There was actually a point where the memory market was so overflooded that you could get 8GB of RAM for like $40. That it got that cheap back in the day, and it was a freaking awesome deal. But then they realized, oh, we need to slow down our supply, and then they started going back up again. So, oh boy, which one do I pick from here?
Yeah, they just pick one, man. The RAM is such a minor.
Okay, let's just go for the $105 Aries set then.
Alright, sounds good.
That's 105, which just go with that.
What? Oh, damn, you're right. RAM did get expensive. Jesus.
Well, it's for 16 gigabytes, but yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
They slowed down. Yeah, they slowed down the supply and got the prices back up again, which is a bummer. Hard drives had a similar problem too, because at one point they were really cheap, and then they were like, "Oh, our facilities got flooded out in Thailand, so price raise," and then never really lowered it since. Video cards, the meat of the system. 960.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You could push a 970, but you're gonna have to cut other things, and
like the performance gap is good enough, but we're going for like we want a well-rounded machine.
Yeah. Man, you could push a 970, but then you're gonna have to like cut other areas. So
yeah, we
like,
want that quad-core i5. Like games are getting more processor intensive as the years go on.
I mean, DirectX 12 is gonna like make things all magical, according to what Nick's been telling me. But even then, physics, animation,
by the way, guys,
all that stuff.
You know, like just so you guys know, Nick had to bail, so but Ray's still here.
Yeah. Well, you keep me around for backup. Someone important has to go.
All right. So anyway, Anthony, continue.
Video cards. 960. EVGA, most popular brand of consumer graphics cards out there. And let's be honest here, their stuff is actually pretty darn good. So what I'm going to pick is their... Here we go, long title. GeForce GTX 960 Gaming 2TB with the ACX 2.0 Plus cooler on it, and it is the Super SC version. $200. And you get a bitchin' fan on it. We got John one of these things, and when I looked at it, it was the nicest video card I have ever seen in my life. It was so nice. It looked almost like a 970, but the only thing I could really find wrong aesthetically with it is that it didn't have a back plate. That was the only thing I could find wrong aesthetically, and it ran super quiet. So we're gonna put that $200 card in.
All right.
Our build is now $775. And we haven't even gotten to hard drives yet. Power supply. We need a power supply. I think this thing needs at least 600 watts. Like a good 600 watts.
If we can, like I said, I like room to upgrade. So if we can get a little better than that, let's
650, 700.
I would say a 700. Like let's leave ourselves some space.
Okay. Do we want this to be fully modular?
It depends on how much.
Okay, yeah, you can't get full modular, but you can get sort of modular.
Yeah.
We'll settle for sort of, because, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just get an EVGA power supply better.
Yeah.
But except those are really expensive, so I'm a little concerned. Yeah, I know I'm looking like I'm sounding a little brand heavy. It also could be that it's a little late right now, and I'm kind of a little speedy through this.
Yeah, that's true.
My apologies. I mean, here's the thing, is that the reason why we're doing this on the raid is that partly is that we're throwing the build out there, but we also want you guys to give us feedback on it too. Like, oh, maybe EVGA power supplies are prone to failures, and if that's the case, well, we probably don't want that kind of part to shake up confidence, so we're just gonna be like, maybe that part isn't a good idea because a lot of people are telling us it doesn't work.
And also, we're
or maybe you guys are, or maybe a vast majority of you actually are willing to dump an i3 into this thing just so you could get your 970. So, I don't know. Or maybe, oh, the hard drive is too crappy. Actually, in the case of the hard drive, there's always going to be a problem because everyone tells me Seagate is broken, and then everyone says Western Digital is broken. So I just sit back and say, they're all broken, let's just pick one.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't break.
Yeah.
So for the power supply, I'm just going to go EVGA because, well, I haven't heard anything bad from them yet, and they got some really highly rated stuff. Like, they got the 750 watt power supply. It's the Supernova G2. $115, fully modular. And it gives you so much headroom that you could actually put an i7 and a 980 into this. So we could actually keep this power supply for our higher builds. Fully modular. Hell yeah. It actually adds 122 to the price tag. Okay, so our build is currently at $900. So we've got processor, motherboards, memory, video card, power supply, case. Wireless networking.
No, just they're gonna have to use an external.
We need to get a DVD drive.
Okay.
Those are like $20, really.
Whatever the cheapest option is.
It's $20. Freaking, like, you need a CD drive because you need a way to install Windows. I mean, you can put that on a USB stick, but you kind of have to go to a bit of work for that. $20 DVD drives, been around forever.
All right.
There you go, simple, easy. That leaves us $80 for a hard drive.
All right. That's all we need. That's the last one.
That's all we need, and there's like really two options at this point. There were two options I could think of. One is the Western Digital Blue, which is what John has in his system right now. It's a basic, standard, normal hard drive, but on John's system it runs pretty well, and I'm pretty sure it still has better read and write speeds than the stock hard drives of Xbox Ones and PS4s. That's why I went with it. And Western Digital, I kind of feel like they have higher quality build standards than Seagate, but they are
our corporate overlords.
Seagate's still awesome, and so are DSK. My computer has Seagate hard drives. Support them now. Buy them today.
Seagate's actually in my machine too, funnily enough.
And I have it was kind of a little funny because Seagate was what helped sponsored part of our E3 trip last year, and it's kind of a little funny how I had a Seagate SSD in my system and replaced my Western Digital black drive with a Seagate 2TB desktop drive, and when I got my PS4, before I even turned it on for the first time, I replaced the stock hard drive with a Seagate hybrid drive.
What I found funny is that's almost as bad as when we had that representative from Astro headphones on our podcast.
And we talked for a whole hour about Astro headphones.
And then what did I end up getting for Christmas?
Astro headphones.
Thanks, Mom. Shows she listens to our show, I guess.
Yeah, see, the problem with Western Digital is that I want to buy a Western Digital Blue drive, but the biggest size they have is 1TB. That's it. And, that's why for this build, I would actually go for that 1TB drive. And on John's system, it seems to be working pretty darn well so far. They don't offer 2TB drives. To get a 2TB drive, you have to step up to the Western Digital Black. And the problem with the Black series is, yes, they're very high performance standard hard drives. Yes, they run fast, but they're a little noisy from my personal experience of an older black drive, and they are a lot more expensive. Yes, you get much higher build quality, but if you're on a bit of a budget, it's like you could probably find other 2TB drives that are $50 less, and you could probably sacrifice a bit of performance and some reliability. I mean, you get a better warranty with the black, but ooh. So that's my hard drive talk. So we're gonna put a Western Digital Blue in here.
All right, that's our base model coming in at
$1,000. It's a Western Digital Blue at $55 for this hard drive, so it's actually not too bad.
Yeah, it actually clocks in at under $1,000.
Yeah, but that's before you account for shipping. Which this thing is gonna be a $1,000 system when you consider that we actually have to pay the people who build it.
Yeah, and then you have factor in shipping, but then you factor in wholesale, so it'll probably be around $1,000.
Yep. Hey, this is not a bad system.
No, that's a legit system, actually. It's real legit.
Yeah.
It's actually probably better than a lot of the PCs we have roaming around the site right now.
Well, it's a lot better than my system. Like, when you step down to 800, that's when you start to worry. Because, like, when we looked at John's budget of $800, I looked at the parts list and I thought, we can build them the fastest system today, and that means reusing my old i5 that I had sitting in my closet for 2 years now. And that gives him room for a 960, or we give him all fresh new parts, which means he has to step down to a Core i3 and a 750 Ti, which kind of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to build him. Like, when you step down to 800, that's when you really are starting to cut corners really hard. Like, I had to recycle a case, and even then I had only a 550 Ti because Windows 7 was so expensive, and frickin' I had an i5, but the video card was what took the hit, and frickin' I can't believe this thing runs as well as it does today. So hey, there's our $1,000 build. Hopefully it has good quality parts.
Alright,
so
2 Gs, so we're obviously going in i7, right?
I'd say 1500 Gs first.
Well, I want to go a 1, a 2, and a 3 because we can just scale up a 1, a 2, or a 3.
Do we really have the expertise to suggest parts for a $3,000 system?
This is what a $3,000 system is: Nick's computer and then a second 980.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what? There you go, right there. We can use the same case, and we just say whatever Nick has plus an extra 980.
Pretty much.
Maybe a 980 Ti when those things come out.
Yeah.
But oh yeah.
Anyway.
Well, $2,000 is a lot like Nick's PC, except I wouldn't go for a 6-core processor.
Yeah,
that would be the only thing I would change. I would probably keep this case because it's a really nice. I think it's a good case. I mean, it's not that fancy, and oh, you guys need to come up with a better case. But we could actually figure out that detail next week, actually. But it's basically Nick's computer, except I wouldn't go 6 cores. I would go 4 cores. Like, so a full out i7, a motherboard that supports overclocking. Actually, like, I probably wouldn't suggest that we overclock it, but we could give the option to overclock.
Yeah,
overclock at your own risk, kind of thing.
At that price, definitely go overclocking.
Yeah, SSD's a must, and so is a secondary hard drive. Maybe a 500, like I said, like Nick's system, 500 gigabyte SSD. Why not, right? But we need to figure out a parts list for this. No Blu-ray drive though, because I'd still think, oh, do we really need a Blu-ray drive?
If we can afford it, yes, but otherwise, no.
I guess I look at Blu-ray drives. I'm just like, Blu-ray players are pretty inexpensive, and do you really need a Blu-ray drive? Because you kind of have to get like DVD software to play Blu-rays on your system, anyways. Do people really use Blu-ray data discs? I mean, why would you use a Blu-ray data disc? I mean, games don't come out in physical copies anymore. They all go through Steam or some digital distribution network or something.
All right.
I'm gonna email this list to myself and to you, so that way I don't lose it.
So we have the $3,000 build, so we just need the 2. Because we already know Nick's builds.
Yeah, that's 2,500. You just throw in an extra 980 and you're done.
Yeah, like exactly.
But we need to figure out exactly what type of brand of stuff he has in there and whether we would tweak it.
All right,
I mean, the great part about Nick's build is that we know it works. He's tested it. Like, we know it works. Like, this is one of the best things about like Nick's system that we can use as a baseline is that he's used it for a few weeks now, and we know it works. And hell, we just sit down and watch Twitch and see how good a game can look on it, even though we can't see it in 60 frames in any way. And Nick is building towards a 4K gaming machine, so there you go. So I'm gonna clear up this list. So we kind of keep the DVD drive. Keep the case, hard drive, video card, power supply. I don't know about the RAM. Yeah, the RAM's gonna go. Wow. Okay. Windows 8.1 case and DVD drive. Okay. Processors.
i7 4790K.
Yeah, every system comes with that.
That's obvious. 16 gigs of DDR3.
32 maybe.
Let's see let's see if we can price this out. Well, yeah, it's a $2,000 build. Let's go 32. Fuck it. Let's go full boss on this thing.
Sorry, I missed that little bit. You were saying?
No, let's go 32. 32 is good.
We need to figure out. We need to look at a motherboard. So it's 1150. Do we want to use the same brand?
Yeah, same brand. Like let's keep same brands, and then for the $3,000 build, we'll beginning of next week's podcast, we'll get
Okay, so a Z97 is an absolute must at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't tell you how happy I am that they simplified the chipset line to an H97 and Z97, and that's it. So much easier. I'm so happy. Because one of the problems with building a PC back in the day was I asked, tell me the difference between a P67, H67, H61, Z97, and Z67 and Q67. Even I can't tell the difference. I mean, I could tell the difference between the H and the P. The P means that you're not using integrated graphics. The H means you are, and the Z is the enthusiast line. But yeah. So we're using. Let's have two PCI Express slots.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here, at $2,000, you never know. SLI is a very achievable thing. So. Best rating. Sabertooth. Okay, do we want the really fancy white armored $269 motherboard, or do we want the $160 motherboard?
What's the difference between the two?
Well, the fancy one has a fancy name that says Sabertooth, has a 5-year warranty, and it's a special limited edition. Actually, special limited edition isn't going to fly, is it?
Also, Moondog guarantees all their parts anyway, so having that warranty is stupid. Go for the 160.
Or we can get the Maximus 7 Hero ACU LGA for $200.
What's the difference in that one?
You can overclock your memory. It has some fancy plating and coloring to it. It has a it has a high-end audio chipset built into the board.
I like that. Let's go that one.
Yeah. Bronson, I think I need to buy a new system. Like, badly. Memory, you could overclock... memory, you can overclock on this memory, so do we really want to just buy 1600 RAM, or do we want to go up? Because, I don't know if the ACI Moondogs know how... I don't know much about their expertise, so I don't know if they actually know how to overclock memory.
They know how to overclock fucking everything. They overclock on all their builds.
So, this motherboard supports up to... what was it again? Let me check. Because I don't want to be suggesting parts that don't work here. It supports up to DDR3 3200 overclock. So just about any speed between 1600 and 3200, that overclock, it can do it.
I was looking at 2100 for my next build, so that would be a good that'd be a good middle ground.
Okay, let's go with that. I need to check the price on that too.
Yeah, this is actually perfect for me. I'm going for a $2,000 build. I might just go with this.
Yeah, there you go.
There.
Don't build it yourself. Come to us.
DDR3 2133 or 2400?
I went 2133, but if 24 isn't that much more expensive, we might as well go that route.
What's the price of 2400? Okay, let me check. Okay, what's the price of 2100? I should say, since you're looking at it.
No, I was. That's what I was back when I was looking at it. I don't know what it is now.
Okay, so it's 134 for 16 gigabytes of 2400. I mean, we're putting 32 into this, right?
Yeah,
because this thing could be an editing machine for all I know.
Yeah. Also, everyone who's looking to buy one of these from us, like, if you want to adjust your build, they can. Like, these are not set in stone. They can change anything about these goddamn machines.
If you hate Asus motherboards for some reason, that is okay.
Just tell them.
It's like how I have a certain prejudice towards. Actually, I probably don't.
Like, if you just love AMD cards,
like if you had a long history of broken hard drives from a certain maker, then okay, we can understand that, because let's be honest here, when you, like, for example, like the company I purchased my laptop from, I probably won't purchase from them again, even though they're like rated 95%. on all their ratings everywhere I look. Oh, this company's so awesome, they're so fast, and I just happen to be the one guy that got the giant headache, and I don't want to buy from them anymore. So I'm just like the one unfortunate dude that just so happens to not have a good experience, but I don't want to buy from them, and I would just rather go somewhere else, and that's fine. Like if you have like some problem with a certain motherboard, that's fine. Yay. 2,400. It's $2,000. We got headroom. Right.
Yeah.
Do we want 4 sticks of 8?
Yeah, that seems fine. Like, there's no reason to do 2 6 of 16 at this point.
Actually, I don't think that's even possible. $235. 32 gigabytes of DDR3. Wait, why does it read? Wait, I got the speed all wrong. 2,400. Yeah, $250. They actually sell a RAM set. They actually do. I just know there's this RAM set that you could buy. I mean, it's $250, but there's an even more expensive version where they come with cooling fans, I think, judging from the picture. Yeah, cooling fans, but we're not going to go for that.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, any surplus we have in the budget now should be going to the video card.
We need to think about an aftermarket CPU cooler. I forgot about that bit. Because that stock one is way too lame. This is me personally having used Intel stock heatsinks for a while. They do the job, but noise and man, it doesn't look that good. So let me add the memory first because I accidentally closed the tab. Let's look for Cooler Master ones. Those are good.
Yeah, definitely go for bigger fans versus water cooling. The guys there definitely know how to install it, but it's cheaper to do bigger fans.
It's like, look, here's the problem with water cooling is, it's like, oh, water cooling is better, much quieter. Here's the thing. Oh, well, water cooling is great and you can do the right job. Well, here's the thing still. Water cooling, all it takes is one little drip to fry your whole thing. Do I really want to think about that? Not to mention, I don't know what the maintenance of water cooling is.
Yeah.
And you can get an air setup that's actually pretty quiet.
No, you can. Theo showed us his, and it was really impressive.
I mean, soundproofing, you can do that.
Yeah, and also the guys over at Moondog do like perfect case management, so fan cooling is perfect.
Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh god, this is taking forever to load.
The GPU, we're going with a 980, I imagine, or a 970. Where are we going with though?
$2,000?
Yeah, 2 Gs.
Get a 980.
Yeah.
Many 980s you can choose from because they're very popular. According to this website I'm looking at.
I'd say EVGA again.
Well, yeah, those guys are so nice. So, EVGA GTX 980 super clocked ACX 2.0 cooler with 4 gigabytes.
Okay, wait, what?
The EVGA 980, they have this one that's super clocked. That's what the fancy marketing with ACX 2.0 cooler on it.
Let's do it.
$565.
Dear
hey, it's
Lord.
$2,000.
Yeah.
They actually sell a 980 that's $800, except it's a special Kingpin edition.
That thing has to be super crazy, right?
It's like some limited edition thingy. Yeah, like Kingpin is like one of the famous overclockers in the PC community, if I'm correct. Oh yes, and because you get 980, you get a free copy of The Witcher 3 Witcher 3 Wild Hunt whenever it happens.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can automatically gang rape your new computer.
Power supply 1,000 watts. We need 1,000 watts.
Yeah, for sure.
We need 1,000 watts. And we need to look at CPU cooler soon. EVGA again. Because I love a simple product line, and their product line makes some sense. There's some of these companies that sell so many CPUs, so many power supplies, I don't know what's going on. Okay. the 1000 P2 Plus Platinum certified power supply.
Fucking,
$200.
I love and hate the names of everything we've talked about today.
Yeah, the 1. The 2. Yeah, I just wish they made it so much simpler. Like I said, it's like this is one of the problems with PC buildings. That not even CPU sockets make sense, because the higher number doesn't mean it's better. They went from 1156 to 1155 to 1150. Like, what's going on? This our power supply will cost us $210.
Do it.
Case, we already took care of that. We need to get a. Oh, you know what? We probably have to trim the system a little bit, but we'll do that later.
Okay.
We need to get a CPU aftermarket fan, so fans and PC cooling. CPU fans, heat sinks. Cooler Master should have a good one, but they're usually out of stock because they're so popular. $30 for an aftermarket one.
That's all right. That's not that bad.
That's not that bad, and it looks pretty big. 21.2 to 76.8 cubic feet per minute flow rate.
All right.
Oh, they have a newer version of the item called the Evo that costs $35. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, but what's at this point? What's $5, right?
Yeah, it's like 15 more, but it's cooling, so that's important. Okay, so we got power supplies, we got that. Okay, hard drives.
All right,
SSD, and SSD is a must.
Yeah,
I'm
SSD.
thinking, I don't know if I want a 500 gigabyte, but I need, but at least 240. I'm thinking. Oh, do we? Oh, I don't know.
So a 240 SSD.
250 is 120, but 500 is 190.
This thing, let's be real, this thing's probably going to be mainly a boot drive, so...
Well, it's a boot and game drive, that's the thing.
Well, yeah,
because you want your games to like be blazingly fast, and I don't know if 250 is going to hold enough. Like, for someone like me, it's like, oh, 250 is perfectly fine, because, you know, I occasionally game and video edit it, but it can blow pretty fast. Well, maybe we'll just go 500, and if it's too much, we'll trim to 250. Does that work? Hello?
Sorry. Anyway.
Do we want...
I think we should go 250 with a terabyte, with a, like, other regular drive with it.
2 terabyte drive, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that.
Okay,
that
let's go 250. Because the thing is that if this is a gaming PC, a lot of that good gaming stuff is going to go into the boot drive. But, you know, that's just me.
Okay.
Hard drive. Okay, so we need a secondary hard drive. Seagate. I'm thinking Seagate at this point because we're at 1,916.
Yeah, we kind of need to save some money. I would agree with this.
I mean, we could go Western Digital Black. Oh, could we? Well, if we could look back and trim a bit.
Let's trim the RAM down to 2100 megahertz. I'm sure
I don't know if that's any cheaper.
Okay, then let's go to 16 gigs. Let's be real.
Yeah, just hang on 1 sec. Crap. Which one of these is the new one?
Wait, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at... There are 2 terabyte Black Series drives. There's the FAEX and there's the FZEX. And I'm trying... I need to go to the Western Digital website to find out which one's the new one. Sometimes I hate product names and numberings and nomenclatures and all that BS. Specification. FZEX is it? Yeah, I'm just gonna say FZEX is the new one. Ooh, this is actually cheaper than I thought. Wow, this is cheaper than I thought.
All right.
124. So we're about $41.89 over budget.
I'm
So
sure
the RAM is gonna need a trimming.
Yeah, let's trim the RAM down to 16, and then we'll have it perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's okay, guys. If you want more RAM, it's very easy.
it's 43 extra bucks.
You just look up the exact same brand and just purchase it. Okay, so let me remove this. Where's the remove button? Remove selector. So memory. Desktop memory. 2400. And 16. Yeah, 2 by 8 gigabyte sticks. $1,914.89.
All right.
Woo!
Woo.
Yeah.
It might actually clock in around 1,800 with the wholesale price, but factor in shipping. it'll
Hey,
probably
we
be
could throw in a
1,900.
500 gigabyte SSD.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the 3,000 build we know and have, so that's
It's
good.
Nix with an extra 980.
Which is that's.
Give me a
gonna be
moment
the
to
deck
add
build
this.
soon.
Give me a moment to add this SSD in. Hang on.
Uh,
Mind you, all of our prices don't include. Mind you, the prices I'm throwing here does not include a wireless adapter because I don't know if people like to game wirelessly and have to deal with the fact their internet may not run that fast, or they actually use an Ethernet connection because it guarantees that you're connected to the internet. And well, these also don't come with Blu-ray drives; they just come with regular DVDs. So our SSD is going to be a Samsung 850 Evo. Which is kind of like the new thing. $190 for one of these. $1,984.89. So we sacrificed some RAM for a bigger, much bigger SSD.
All right.
Which I think is actually pretty worth it.
All right. So that's it for this episode of The Raid. This has been Bronson.
And this has been Anthony.
And this has been Ray.
And we will be back next week with more fun PC talk. And we will hopefully have our final builds with Moondog set, if not next week, the week after, hopefully.
And
so please.
we'll clarify Nick's build because we didn't specifically say what it is. It's basically 6 cores on the CPU with hyper-threading, has what was it, an X97, I forgot what it was. 500 gigabyte SSD, regular DVD drive, giant 980. Yeah,
all that
it's
good
pretty
stuff.
beast. Yeah.
Anyway, everyone, we'll be back next week. You have a good day.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.